here at the Menil Collection, and I'm really excited to welcome you all to the walkthrough of the Teen Council exhibition, Group Shift Photographs of Stasis and Change Selected by the CAMH Teen Council. So this is the second time that the Menil has collaborated with the Contemporary Arts Museum to give the Teen Council the opportunity to work with the Menil's photography collection to curate an exhibition. So I've been working with the Teen Council for the past 5 months and walking them through the curatorial process. So we started by screening about 3,000 photographs in the Menil's collection, and then slowly whittled it down to 100, and then 50, and then 30, and then the 17 that you see on view here today. So this collaboration is held in conjunction with PhotoFest. So the teens were looking to the PhotoFest theme, which is changing circumstances, looking at the future of the planet, which examines environmental issues. So from that, they kind of curated this exhibition, looking at that theme. And this walkthrough also coincides with the beginning of PhotoFest. So I'll turn it over to Jamal, who's the Teen Council Coordinator at the Contemporary Arts Museum.
Thank you, Haley. And I thank you all for coming out today in support of this exhibition curated by the Teen Council. For those who are not familiar with the Teen Council, they are a group of young artists and art enthusiasts who are employed by the CAM for the purpose of creating teen programming to bring younger audiences into the museum. During their weekly meetings, they learn about the inner workings of museums, about the local Kusinar's community, and about the field of contemporary art at large. Before we start the talk today, I would like to thank the Menil Collection, specifically Michelle White, who's in the audience, Haley Berkman, David Ellsworth, Eric Zimmerman, and Brooke Stroud for all their dedication and hard work on making this exhibition happen. Institutions like the CAM and the Menil are great educational resources that offer young audiences and older audiences many opportunities for self-directed learning. Today, the Teen Council members who will be leading our walkthrough are Alex Rodriguez, Eli Winter, Adrian Jimenez, and El Machia Miller. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to them.
We'd also, before we begin, not only like to thank the Menil CAM for giving us as a collective Teen Council the opportunity before we're even out of high school to curate an exhibition here, but also to thank Wendy Watkins and Fred Baldwin, the founders of PhotoFest, for being here today. And so, like Jamal and Haley were saying, you know, the impetus, the guiding force behind our exhibition is the theme of PhotoFest, changing circumstances, looking at the future of our planet. And we as a council collectively decided to expand the scope of our exhibition to not just look at how the environment, and to not just look at how we as humans interact with the environment, but also how culture and society, the economy and religion, and a number of other factors impact our relationship with the environment and how it's changed from being one of more one of coexistence to one of arguably subjugation, and just how our relationship has changed. And the title of the exhibition, Root Shift, really speaks to that, embodied in these photographs and also in our relationships with these various factors to understand how that change happens. And I think these first photographs here really speak to that. There's a sense of isolation, of even alienation.
So to start off with this first pairing, we have a photograph taken by Elliot Erwitt, Tallahassee, Florida in 1980. Down here we have a photo by Edward Misrach. It was taken in 1981, and it's of a flax field. And then this photograph taken by Dan Nudnick in 1965 of a person from the Selma to Montgomery March. And when we were choosing this pairing, we were thinking in terms of similar subject matter and visual elements. So things like line, the common ground that we get from it. We get emptiness and isolation from these photographs. We pull together a kind of a human residue. In these first two photographs is quite more literal with it. We have bleachers that are empty but represent there's no humans. Down below we have a flax field, which was done, of course, by humans, but no one in the photograph. the subject matter is a bleachers in the field. And the last photograph, we do have a human in it, therefore they are the subject, yet you still get the feeling of emptiness. If you look closely in, the floor has thousands of footprints, which quite literally is human residue. But you still feel empty, you still feel isolated, and this pairing helps the viewer's eyes flow through these photographs and to continue on throughout the exhibit theme. To move on to the next pairing, personally, this is one of my favorites. I feel like this is the most intimate pairing we have in the exhibit. This is a photograph taken by Walker Evans. It's called Blacks in Kitchen, and it was taken in 1961. Originally, it was taken for a photo essay for Fortune magazine, but this photo wasn't used in that. This is a photo by Danny Lyon. It was taken in Haiti in 1983. With this photograph, depending on different experiences, different backgrounds, us collectively as people can still take a familial theme from this photograph. In Lyon's photograph, it's very intimate. It's of two prostitutes resting and relaxing. Although we cannot speak for them, we don't know what they've been through, we don't know what experiences they've had, there's still a similar amount of intimacy with this photograph and with this photograph. They work together very well in terms of that. These photographs as a pair kind of show vulnerability of human interaction with each other, but also how they're affected by their environment.
Now this is talking about how this Danny Lyons picture in particular speaks to a certain vulnerability in the picture, a vulnerability that I think can be seen also in this picture by the founders of PhotoFest, Wendy Wampus, Frederick Paulson and Wendy Wampus, Greenwood Baptist Church, East Texas, taken in 1976. Here, this picture, to my mind, not only speaks to that vulnerability in that the preacher, his arms are outstretched literally towards a source of light, and that he's sort of opening himself up to God, if you will, but that it also speaks to a certain hope in the picture that I think can be seen more clearly here than in any other picture. Even though religion and the various bodies, the various religious bodies, the various houses of worship that we have in this country can often be used as a tool for hindering change. At the same time, they can also be used to promote it. I think you can also see this kind of change here in these pictures if we can expand the scope of our visual scope, so to speak, and this picture by Tom Arndt, Blackfoot Reservation, Browning, Montana, taken in 1978. And also this picture way over here, Puget Sound baskets on the far left, taken by Edward Sheriff Curtis in 1912. They are obviously taken at different points in time, separated by not just different places. Puget Sound baskets being taken in Washington State, and Blackfoot Reservation being taken in Montana. But also in terms of the effects that the environment has had on the different cultures that the photographs show, and their own decisions, whether internally or externally made, to adapt to these cultural, societal, environmental changes. With this Arndt picture, for example, being suggestive of the sort of overarching industrialization that the PhotoFest theme and that this exhibit generally speaks to, with the Curtis picture, meanwhile, being more traditional or reverent, if you will. There's a bit of irony here, both in terms of this Curtis picture and these next photos by Walker Evans. Edward Sheriff Curtis took this photo while he was being bankrolled by J.P. Morgan, whose large wealth arguably not only helped to enable Curtis to finance the exhibition, but also arguably helped to enable the drastic changes in our relationship with the environment that, again, the exhibition speaks to. And the same thing happened with Walker Evans taking these pictures for Fortune magazine.
All right. So here we have a photograph by Walker Evans. It was taken in 1929, and it's called Stamped Tin Relic. 1929, it's an early photograph in his career. We see a later photo over there, the Blacks in the Kitchen, that has that signature realist quality that we've all come to know him so well for. But in this early photo, there's still a poetic allusion to modernism. The photo plane is very formalist. There's lots of graphic elements that draw you in with allusions to a sort of painterly image. However, what I find so striking about it is that modernist sense of poetry. Speaking on that same irony, it is a stamped tin relic. It is not what it appears to be, these crushed marble columns. And Evans could be alluding to a sort of juxtaposition, a dynamism between industrialization and then what that marble represents, one of civilization building, of Roman and Greek empires, crumbled into this industrial tin material.
Yeah, and then there is Menil Collection's piece taken 1964 in Cambridge, Maryland. Is a piece of an SNCC photographer named Clifford Boggs being pulled or in a state of tug of war with his fellow protesters and also the Maryland National Guard. This piece really speaks to me in that it's very, exactly like the Stanton Road, it's very loud in a sense. That's why this picture taken by Helene Roger Violette is right next to it, because it's very calm and slow piece, whereas this one is so engrossing. In all of Danny Lyon's pieces, he's very good at pulling you into them, and it's like in the sense of, it feels like it's a memory in your own head, whereas in some of the other pieces they're very distant, and as in that one, very isolated. These are very inviting to bring you in. And it relates to all these pictures were paired together because of how they pull you in. They're all looking you in the face, where some of them aren't and some of them are. And it kind of gives you a kind of context as to where the picture or how or what was going on when the picture was taken. This picture is just a father and child taken in 1997 in Chicago. Pretty much all it is. It only relates to it just because of the captivating aspect of the picture and how it's set in a sense of innocence, but also danger.
Yeah, lastly, we have a Mario Carriere photograph that we paired with a Richard Misrach. Both of them have a striking documentative quality to them that's apparent in the series that they come from. Misrach took photographs of the American desert and also of Stonehenge all at night using a very specific long exposure technique with a strobe light to give his subjects a humanist sort of internal glow. The light that is apparent in the stone, it feels supernatural. There's something there's a poetry to it, and it feels very human. It is a portrait of the stone. And in the Carriere, we have a very similar effect. He took a series of photographs, all of African wooden sculptures of faces, of figurative sculptures. And he took them in this dignified portrait manner that humanizes them with a sort of, again, this sort of poetry. It feels as though we are looking at a photograph of a woman's face. She is looking at something off the photo that is very, there's a visceral quality that it's beyond just documentation. We're not meant to simply appreciate the sculpture. There's a photographic elevation that takes place here in both of the photographs. And so we've been a little bit cheeky with our curation here, having her face the stone. It becomes kind of a conversation between these two objects that have no literal life, but the photographers have imbued them with human qualities, with a sort of they speak, they can have conversations, and then that was really what we were aiming for here. Also, there's something to be said about the poetry of photography in general in these photographs. The identity of the photographer can be crucial, as we see in the rest of the exhibition. Here the identity it's taken one step back. The photographs almost become painterly. They have a weight to them that only exists in the subject. We're allowed here to be a little bit. We're allowed to view them almost pleasurably. We don't have to imbue these with the same politics that are present in the other photographs, and that's a kind of respite that I enjoy in these photos. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.